Hello, this is Unbound Sage, and welcome to another Godforge video. Today, we got some patch notes for Wave 3 coming out. I know a lot of people are excited about this wave, myself included. We're going to move quickly through the patch notes here in its entirety. A lot of these are general and vague. A lot of them are just to temper expectations about what's going to be exciting. So we'll go through this, and we have a few pictures to share as well. But first, let's just go to the top. I want to thank, first of all, Fateless for giving me early access to this. I'm a very small channel, so getting the same treatment as the big channels feels awesome. But let's get started here. So you can see here that we talk about bleeds and burns. They were not working as intended. The biggest issue was bleeds. We could snack more than 10, and we didn't know how many we had on the enemy. And people like Achilles and Dracula, their kit was around removing bleeds as well to gain buffs. And I feel like Achilles, while he was a great bleed stacker, I think we'll see his full potential here. And we'll talk about Achilles later. Um in addition, all bosses have a passive. They're supposed to be taking quarter damage, and they were not. So make sure, if you're relying on bleeds a lot, that might not be enough anymore, to be honest with you. That might not be enough. When it comes to generation of divinity, there have been nerfs to divinity generation across the board and rebalances. Uh and so we'll look at one of those right here. We're going to look at Aphrodite. Now, Aphrodite was known as a big troublemaker. Here's what we're seeing with the new Aphrodite way to gain divinity. If you're not sure about divinity and how this works, I do have a video on the channel that covers divinity gain, and it actually covers Aphrodite in the video. She's the example. So we'll see here that she gets it when she places a buff now, and previously it was whenever a character received a buff. You'll see it on screen here. That means that the teams that we kind of, know and love are not nearly as good anymore, honestly. Uh so, don't be surprised when you're not rotating ultimates anymore. I don't think that's a thing of the past. I think you can generate ultimate very quickly, divinity very quickly in this game, but don't expect it to be like multiple times before the boss's turn. They're rebalancing a lot of weapons as well. And Solar Flare is definitely on the chopping block here. You could stack Solar Flares and have someone do millions of damage just by having your entire team have Solar Flares. So expect a lot of weapon changes. And one of the big weapon changes we're gonna see, we actually have a leak for it from the devs here, is now Heka, instead of turning HP to attack, it's turning attack to HP. And so this is a 1-star Heka, doing 50% of your attack to HP. This is going to be key, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit later about why Heka is still going to be used. It's just not going to be that powerhouse that you've seen before. Expect Hercules to not do nearly as much damage as he used to do. He'll still be great. He'll still be a phenomenal champion. But do not expect Hercules to solo carry you. You get a Heka, you get okay gear, and then now Hercules one shots waves. That's not going to happen anymore. And then Slayers will probably still build Heka. Like I said, we'll talk about it later. But huge changes out. So basically, the stuff you thought you knew, double check beforehand. Make sure you read passives, and then we'll go through here. And this is very vague stuff here too. It's on the screen for you to read, but very vague. Don't, just basically what this is saying to me is, hey, read your stuff before you use it. Don't assume that everything works the way it did in wave 2 as it will in wave 3. So let's talk about the updates here that they actually, this is in the implicit stuff we know. We're gonna see bleeds. Bleeds are gonna be correctly removed by our two big bleedy boys. Weapons are updated. Several divinity ultimate generators are changed. We have a count to the roster, so it'll say something out of 150. They did really good screenshot for that, but I didn't feel like showing it. It's what you expect it to be. It's right next to the sorter. We have a wave turn and battle timer. This is gonna be important. We'll see later. We're gonna care about this, especially the turn one. Dagonet passive's big. No more team attacks. They are really cutting down on team attacks. With Aphrodite, team attacks were big because if you had her 2 buffs on someone, she would join they would join every A1 she did, with less ultimate generation because of the nerf to her. I think she'll still be a phenomenal champion. You'll still be very happy to take her. Her aura alone is, like, worth talking about. But I think it's gonna have a hard time keeping up the, initiative and speed buffs that you need to get people to attack with her. And people be generating less, divinity in general because she gives 30% divinity to those that have those 2 buffs. And so we're gonna see a lot less ultimate cycling because of Aphrodite. So be aware of that. And then there's less team attack, right? This 50% to join that, this imprint's gonna change as well. So there's no more 15% to join. Dagonet is no longer a passive that's an auto include on every damage dealer. Now we have increased turn meter when placing a debuff. So people that place a lot of debuffs, probably might care about this. It'll probably be the input will probably be 50% chance to increase turn meter by 2.5. Yeah, I mean that's pretty good, right? If you're a big debuff placer and like that's your thing, I think of like Mordred, right? Getting your turns back to rotate back. Sure, I can see him placing this, in a place of as a rare imprint. This is great, right? You're gonna use this on your debuffers if you use debuffers. Shamash now gives a shield instead of barrier, so no longer can stack the Shamash ultimate. Speaking of Shamash as well, we do have a picture of Shamash. Shamash also got a nerf. This nerf, however, so here's the new one. The big thing you want to see here is the shield instead of the barrier, but also too, the first time an ally gets killed, he gains full divinity, then activates Lights of Heaven. That's not what this used to do. It used to be a lot better than this. So we see Shamash's updated kit here, right? We see the shields to the barrier. I think this used to be 60 divinity. Um, and the first time an ally is killed in battle, gain full divinity. I don't think this used to be gain full divinity. I think this used to be you just activate it, and you would keep your ability gauge, right? You'd keep your ultimate gauge, if I remember the battle correctly. So now in progression, you're not going to get 2 revives. It used to be like, okay, yeah, you died in wave 2, you get a revive. Wave 3, you built his ultimate, and in progression, and then you use his ultimate. No, when you die, you actually lose the ultimate gauge here because it'll go to full and then pop. And so, in progression, you're probably only getting 1 revive, or on stage 3, you may get your attack up. So be aware of that. That also means enemy Shamashes are nerfed as well. So, if they're not gonna ult twice either. So, that's makes the tower easier because Shamash isn't a champion you have to play around in the tower. Or in the tower, in the caverns. So, keep a lookout for that. Next up on the agenda here, we see Fafnir is now ignoring Immortal along with the 3 other ones after 20 casts of Ultimate. This is how it was supposed to be at the end of Wave 2. It was bugged where only his 20th Ultimate ignored it, and the 21st one did not. I imagine that's changed for this. They're a very talented team that really understands how their code works. So expect this to work now, and it's gonna be hard to survive. And then for Fafnir, will end after 500 turns. And I believe this is every character's turn. So a full turn rotation will be your 5 characters in Fafnir. That's 6 turns. So, keep an eye out. Keep an eye out for this, especially teams that are really fast. Like I think the Aphrodite team where they keep that speed up too, which is a really fast speed, and they go multiple times between the boss. That's going to be tough to deal with. You're going to be using a lot of turns. And we see Fafnir and Golden Guardian stats going up. Golden Guardian was already a pain point. That was kind of solved by bleeds, but now bleeds are weaker. So stage 120 is going to be brutal. And speaking of 120, epic drop rates for stage 60s to 120 has gone up. So every 5 and 10 stage that ends at 65, 70, 75, 80. All those going up drop epic and legendaries. It seems like we're gonna get more epic heroes here. This is important because in wave 3 there will be less energy drops. And they will be pre-planned. I imagine that sometime soon Fateless will release that information so we can plan around it because there is a contest going on with Wave 3. So this is great for us, right? We're gonna be relying on people that like Mordred. Mordred is a big one people care about to clear later stages. And Achilles. We will have less legendaries in this wave. So the fact that they are shoring up the epic count to make sure that you have someone you can use is phenomenal. They're changing the epic and legendaries you get the guarantees from 20 and 30. Okay, sure. I don't know what they are. Well, I'll probably get more information on this. And then we have the eternal only farming. I do have a picture for this because I want to show something else as well. 125. We only get Eternals here. So if you have an Eternal champion, like you grab your Zeus and you really want to level up your Zeus, makes sense. This is the stage for it, right? It's not diluted with normal stuff. Also, you can see here on the left side we have a star counter. Yeah, so it'll be easier. There is a multiplier to the Fafnir damage. So I think knowing how many stars you have, they fixed a lot of the star issues as well. A lot of the stars were unearnable, so they fixed that as well. And so, what do I think that we should be talking about here? Well, I have Raven Pyros to side up, and I think Epic Champions are gonna be a lot more important here. Some things to consider is Musashi and Achilles. I think Musashi is phenomenal. I like him a lot. I'm a huge Musashi believer. You're not gonna have every legendary anymore. You're not gonna be able to farm overnight and get every legendary. So, if you get a legendary and you get Heimdall, right, and you don't have Zeus, or you don't have another damage dealer like Hercules, Musashi is awesome. He does a lot of damage, and maybe he'll even get buffed or something, or the weapons will be really good for him. And I think you're gonna need a damage dealer. I think you're gonna need a big boy damage dealer that you're gonna want to build like 300 crit damage, a ton of attack, and then I think the weapon you're gonna choose is Heka just for their survivability. I think you're still gonna build Heka on these people, but the thing about Slayers is they die a lot. So having a one slot weapon that you can put the crit damage or the attack here, right? Uh and then along with accuracy as well. Heka gives accuracy. So for Musashi and Achilles, Musashi's all about this taunt. He likes to taunt people, right? For progression. So the Heka giving him accuracy and a damage stat is awesome. Same thing with Achilles. I think Achilles can be a good boss killer. Still, we said bleeds were nerfed, but he still needs to hit his bleeds, and I don't think this was working. I think an Awaken 5 Achilles, giving him 50% more attack in his kit, along with the 30% more under bleed. I think his A1s are going to smack. He has an attack up in his kit, 40% attack up. I mean, you could just see 50% more damage, 30% more damage. This is actually attack increase, right? So this is actually being multiplied against this and being multiplied against this. So don't be surprised when you start counting your stacks with Achilles against Fafnir, right? I could see you trying to get to 50 as soon as possible. And then now your game plan is okay, I'm gonna stack 10 because bleeds don't go off. They only expire when someone puts a mend on. So there's no time limit. You place your bleeds, take your time, and then when you hit 10 bleeds, you ult. And then this ultimate does what 700 times your attack with the attack up, with the increased attack. This is going to absolutely smack Fafnir. So, look out for Achilles with these changes. He's gonna need Heka to survive. He's a squishy boy. I mean, look at his HP stat. He's a squishy boy. Um, and his defense is a very squishy boy. But I mean, I could eat like. There's definitely a world where you use Heka and then you keep him alive with Heimdall. So look out for Achilles here. Look out for Mordred. Obviously, is a progression. He is crazy good. Along with this confused. This is 100% confused for 2 turns. Once you upgrade it, phenomenal, right? I think other champions to look out for your legendaries. Hopefully they have fixed Horus. Horus had a bug where his ultimate was only taunting for 1 turn. So look out for him. If his 2-turn taunt is working, he's gonna be a phenomenal wave clear guy. But Hercules is nerfed with the hecka nerf. Don't expect Hercules to be a carry. Zeus is still good, right? If you get Zeus, good, great job, right? You have your damage. But if you don't get Zeus and you don't get a big boy damage dealer here, you know, don't be afraid to look down to these epics. Don't be surprised if you actually have to build a Slayer, I think is what I'm saying. Right? An actual Slayer and then slap a Hecko on them for survivability. I think that's what you're gonna see here. I think these waves are gonna be significantly tougher. I think a lot of us relied on glitches and stuff, and I think a lot of these commonly known glitches and bugs are out. And then here's some bug fixes at the bottom here. A lot of not surprising stuff. Again, thanks to the Fateless team for sharing this with me. And be aware, guys. Wave 3 is real. Wave 3 is happening, and it's not gonna be like Wave 2. It's gonna be tough. So you might actually have to build out your champions. Something here we saw too is better gear quality as well. You're gonna get better gear earlier. So I think when you get to stage like 120, don't be surprised if you had to farm for gear for a bit, 'cause it is going to be tougher. Like Hercules isn't going to solve all your problems. Zeus is not going to solve all your problems. You're going to need gear, and you're going to need to think more with epic champions because you're not going to have a full team. You're not going to have a Heimdall Zeus. You're not going to have like Heimdall Zeus, Aphrodite, Shamash. You're not going to have that team unless you're extremely lucky. So make sure you keep an eye out for the for the epics, and don't be afraid to build an actual Slayer. And your starter is really good to 6-star as well, if you need to in a pinch. With that, I'm on bound stage. I'm signing off. Take it easy, guys.